Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder. And man, has it been a while, it feels like, since I've just done a regular video about something that I've really wanted to talk about. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to start getting back to that. Again, I'll be coming out with another K65 update video hopefully soon. There's been a lot of developments and hopefully for the better. But before we ever even touch on that, today I wanted to talk about something different. I wanted to touch on this idea that I've been hearing, and usually I only like to comment on kind of like the rumors, the speculations, if I feel that I'm hearing something from a vetted-ish source. And though I'm not going to disclose who told me this, and I should say the number of people that I've heard this from, I do want to touch on it because I haven't really done a direct video that covers this topic, which is the idea of merging and demerging. So this is something that, again, I've heard from a couple people right now, people that I trust because they haven't given me any bad information yet, right? So I really kind of go off of their track record. And these are also people that I consider friends. So I wanted to touch on this topic today of the idea of merging into a second season and then the possibility of demerging in the season after that. Now, let's preface this whole idea of we don't know if any of these things will change. Will they actually come to pass or not? But let's assume for now, as I'm dying, as you guys know, but I'm trying not to die. As you know, in season 1, this is your home kingdom, right? So where we are right now, this is the home kingdom. When season 2 comes around, this is where you're getting merged for 4 to 6 kingdoms from what we know right now. I believe the previous round was 5 kingdoms. I think the most recent round that actually got pushed, which I'll probably talk about that as another video, I believe that's 5 as well. So maybe the trend might be 5. We're just going to have to see how the future merge groupings play out. But let's say season 1 is your home kingdom, season 2 is the merge kingdom, and then season 3, you get demerged and go back to your home kingdom. Now, let's simplify all of this. Basically, what we're seeing is a forced KVK going back to then a home kingdom, right? Like, that's really the biggest difference between if you're comparing something like Rock where you have the option to go to a merge kingdom. In this case, you're just going into a forced merge kingdom / a forced KVK / SVS, whatever you want to refer to it as. And then at the end of it, you're coming back to your home kingdom going into that 3rd season. So what is interesting about this is that before we previously thought that, well, first off, we didn't know. Like, let's really preface that. We didn't know what was going to happen beyond season 2. We still don't really know what the map is going to look like for season 2. Will there be new behemoths? Will it be an entirely different asymmetrical map similar to what we have now? There are still quite a few unanswered questions, but how does this impact? And I think that's really the bigger question is how does this impact your home kingdom, right? If we end up seeing things play out the way that they may, which is going into a merge season and then demerging the next season. I think the biggest thing that probably is the elephant in the room, which is your home kingdom, right? This means that there's a lot more impact for how your home kingdom plays out and for the care that you take in your home kingdom. We're also hearing things about merging, and again, I'll touch on that probably in a later video, but what this means, like before when we were getting our first couple merged kingdoms like SS1-1, SS1-2, -3, -4, even up to -5 really, because again, they haven't, bear in mind, they haven't really came out with anything official, but if you think about how the kingdoms developed their territory from the early stages all the way to the end, how they developed relationships, whether they cared or not for that, if this whole demerging thing does come to pass, a lot of that will be impacted because you will basically go back to your home kingdom and you're going to have to work with the same people and alliances and players that were there. Very similar to what we basically have going on now in 65, except my general approach has just always been you need to have good relationships with the people that are in your home kingdom because you don't know what's going to happen, right? The age-old, we don't know what we don't know. So we should prepare for any and all potential situations whenever possible. And this is just one of those, right? You don't burn bridges unnecessarily in your home kingdom just because you think something may or may not happen, right? It's plan for the worst, be hopeful for the best. And so this is something that will be interesting to see, again, as we talk about, once again, if it comes to pass, how will some of those kingdoms, if we look at 1 through 26 as an example, right? Because those are the first 5 kingdoms that are going into their merge, right? Or at least 4 that we have in the merge kingdoms. It will be interesting to see. It is up to 5. It will be interesting to see once those kingdoms go back again, if it happens. How will those kingdoms be, right? Will they be destabilized? Will they have to kind of redo certain things as they're going back in when it comes to reestablishing bonds, redoing diplomacy? Will there be wars again in those home kingdoms, right? Because maybe they didn't care too much about establishing good relationships. Will the people that went into the merge kingdom pretty much be the only ones that will be there? And will it be a ghost town because they didn't care too much about trying to keep the activity? And that is another big thing I'm going to touch on. It is so imperative that people do not underestimate the value of a home kingdom. If you take your home kingdom, this is the thing. Home kingdoms are so much more impactful now, and every single player means so much more now in your home kingdom. Why? Because you don't have the choice to stay in your home kingdom while the fighters who want to fight go and fight in KVK. Everyone has to participate now. So if you think about it, the way that a CoD home kingdom is so much more important than a home kingdom in Rock. Just because that everyone is being forced to go into KVK. So everyone is arguably going to be put potentially in harm's way. So it is almost so crucial that we understand the importance of why we need to nurture, we need to educate, we need to inform, we need to try and prepare every single active player in a home kingdom to the best of our abilities. So that way we can be that much more war ready or KVK ready prior or going into season 2, right? It can't just be we're just going to take our fighters and kind of leave the rest, right? If that happens, you're going to probably see an insane level of player drop-off in your kingdom because you didn't take the time to help the people out who just didn't know what to do. And I think that is going to be a very interesting tell when you look at, and I'll give you a great example, right? Just to use K65 real quick. So this is something I just want to point out I'm very proud of. Regardless of what's happening in K65 right now, what I am very proud of is the fact that the activity and the average power for alliances is incredibly high for the stage that we are at right now, right? You have alliances that are pretty close in power. There's no one really breaking away. And you can see the level of healthy active alliances that we have, right? I mean, if I want to say, I'd say we have at least 12 healthy alliances at 200 mil and above. And I would argue we have decent activity, right? I would say like mid to low mid activity from 20 to 13, from that 100 to kind of 190 range. So this is something I can tell you I'm very excited about, even if I go to like the number 200 player, right, here at Power. I mean, that's 4.48, almost 4.5 mil for a top 200, given we're about 3 weeks in. I think that's really good based on what I've seen for the amount of accounts I have in Kingdoms and for what usually the average power range that I'm typically seeing, especially for a number 200 bubble position and up. I'm very happy with that. And I think it's something that when you really take the time to kind of nurture that throughout a kingdom, you'll start to realize how impactful that can be, again, if something like a demerge was to happen going into Season 3 and or even beyond, right? Because you're going to have to potentially, in this scenario, if you come back to your home kingdom, that's really where it will kind of make or break you going forward. And then obviously there's the whole thing about migration that we're hearing as well. So that'll be kind of be a separate thing. But I just wanted to touch on this because I thought it was very important. And I hope that if anything, the big takeaway that players who watch this video are able to hopefully get and understand or download is not to take your home kingdom for granted. Because again, you never know what's going to happen. So With that being said, I want to hear from you. Do you feel like your home kingdom is in a good position? Do you think your home kingdom is really taking care of the average player and trying to nurture activity and sustainability and retention within your kingdom? And also, how do you think the merging, demerging will impact your kingdom if that does come to pass? Let me know anything and everything in the comments down below. That's going to be it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.